If you're over 60 and you've heard the term biohacking thrown around by Silicon Valley executives claiming they've reversed their biological age by 2 decades, you're probably wondering if any of this actually applies to if it's just expensive snake oil. I'm going to cut through the marketing noise today and show you exactly what the clinical evidence says about age reversal. Strategies that are accessible, safe, and proven effective for adults in your age group. By the end of this video, you'll know the 3 interventions with the strongest data behind them, and I'll walk you through a protocol you can discuss with your physician starting this week. But here's what you need to understand first. The difference between chronological age and biological age isn't just semantics, it's the key to everything we're going to discuss, and most people get this fundamentally wrong. Let me start with what we actually mean when we talk about reversing aging. Your chronological age is simply how many years you've been alive. Your biological age, however, measures how well your cells and systems are functioning compared to population averages. Research published in the journal Aging in 2023 demonstrated that biological age can be accurately measured through epigenetic clocks, specifically DNA methylation patterns that correlate with functional decline. The breakthrough discovery here is that biological age is a landmark study from the University of California showed that participants following a specific 8-week intervention reduced their biological age by an average of 3 years. Now, before you think that sounds modest, consider this. Those 3 years translated to measurable improvements in immune function, cognitive performance, and inflammatory markers. But the protocol they used isn't what you'd expect, and I'll reveal the exact components in just a moment. First, though, we need to address the elephant in the room. The biohacking industry has exploded into a multi-billion-dollar marketplace, and much of it targets younger executives worried about maintaining peak performance. The question for superagers like you is whether these interventions translate across decades or whether your physiology requires different approaches. Here's what the research tells us. Certain interventions show even stronger effects in older adults than in younger populations. But they're not the trendy ones getting all the attention on social media. As we look at the data, 3 categories emerge with the most robust clinical evidence for your demographic: targeted nutritional strategies, specific exercise protocols, and evidence-based supplementation. What makes these different from generic health advice is the precision with which they target the hallmarks of aging that matter most after 60. Let's talk about the first pillar: nutritional intervention. The calorie trial, published in the Lancet Diabetes and Endocrinology, followed adults practicing moderate caloric restriction for 2 years. Participants reduced their intake by just 15%, not the extreme fasting protocols you might see online, and showed significant improvements in biomarkers associated with aging, including reduced oxidative stress and improved metabolic health. But here's the critical discovery most doctors overlook. The timing of protein intake matters more than total daily protein for maintaining muscle mass as you age. Research from McMaster University demonstrates that distributing at least 25 to 30 grams of high-quality protein across 3 meals stimulates muscle protein synthesis far more effectively than consuming the same total amount concentrated in 1 or 2 meals. This isn't about eating less, it's about eating strategically. And there's one specific amino acid ratio I'll detail at the end that amplifies this effect even further. Now, you might be wondering why this protein timing is so crucial. After age 50, you develop what researchers call anabolic resistance. Your muscles become less responsive to protein intake. The Journal of the American Medical Association published findings showing that this resistance is a primary driver of sarcopenia, the age-related muscle loss that predicts falls, fractures, and loss of independence. But the same research demonstrated that with proper protein timing, combined with resistance training, which I'll explain next, you can overcome this resistance and actually build muscle mass well into your 70s and 80s. One participant in their study, a 73-year-old woman, increased her lean muscle mass by 8 pounds over 6 months. That's not maintaining, that's rebuilding. This brings us to the second pillar: exercise prescription. And I need to be very direct here because the standard advice given to older adults is often too conservative and leaves significant benefits on the table. A comprehensive meta-analysis in sports medicine reviewing over 50 studies found that high-intensity resistance training, not just light weights or chair exercises, produces the most dramatic improvements in functional capacity, bone density, and metabolic health in adults over 60. We're talking about training at 70 to 85% of your 1-rep max, performed safely with proper progression and medical clearance. The Mayo Clinic's research on superagers, those rare individuals who maintain cognitive and physical function decades beyond their peers, revealed that this group consistently engages in challenging resistance work, not moderate walking alone. But here's what's fascinating. When combined with a specific type of cardiovascular training, the effects multiply exponentially. Later in this video, I'll reveal the exact weekly split that produced the strongest outcomes in clinical trials. The third pillar is supplementation, and this is where we separate evidence from expensive wishful thinking. Thousands of supplements promised age reversal, but only a handful have clinical data supporting their use in your age group. The first is vitamin D3, and here's why it's non-negotiable. A study in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism following over 25,000 adults found that those maintaining serum levels above 40 nanograms per milliliter had significantly lower all-cause mortality. Most Americans over 60 are deficient, and this deficiency accelerates muscle loss, bone deterioration, and immune decline. The dosing sweet spot based on current research is between 2,000 and 4,000 IU daily, but you need to test your levels, not guess. The second is creatine monohydrate. Multiple studies, including research published in Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, show that 5 grams daily improves muscle strength, cognitive function, and bone density in older adults. The safety profile after 60 is excellent, despite outdated concerns about kidney function in healthy individuals. But there's one critical biomarker you need to check before starting any supplement protocol, and I'll tell you exactly what that is before we finish. Now let's address the controversial interventions you've probably heard about: peptides, NAD+ infusions, rapamycin, and metformin for longevity. The honest truth: most of these exist in a gray zone between promising research and established clinical practice. Metformin, for example, is being studied in the TAME trial toward getting aging with metformin, but results aren't published yet. Some gerontologists prescribe it off-label for patients with prediabetes, where the data is stronger. NAD+ precursors like NMN show intriguing results in animal models, but human studies in older adults remain limited. I'm not saying these won't eventually prove valuable, but as of today, the 3 pillars I've outlined have decades of human clinical data supporting their safety and efficacy for your age group. And here's something crucial: even if tomorrow a pharmaceutical breakthrough gives us a true age reversal drug, it will work best in bodies that are already optimized through nutrition, exercise, and foundational supplementation. You're not waiting for permission to start, you're building the foundation right now. So let me give you the actionable protocol. First, get comprehensive blood work, complete metabolic panel, lipid panel, hemoglobin A1C, vitamin D, CRP for inflammation, and testosterone or estrogen depending on your sex. These established your baseline biological markers. Second, restructure your protein intake to 25 to 30 grams at breakfast, lunch, and dinner, emphasizing leucine-rich sources like eggs, Greek yogurt, chicken, and fish. Third, begin a progressive resistance training program 2 to 3 times per week, working with a qualified trainer initially to ensure proper form and appropriate load. Add 150 minutes of moderate cardiovascular activity weekly. Fourth, supplement with vitamin D3 to achieve serum levels of 40 to 60 nanograms per milliliter. Add 5 grams of creatine monohydrate daily, and consider omega-3 fatty acids at 1 to 2 grams daily if your diet is low in fatty fish. Fifth, retest your biomarkers in 3 months to track objective improvements. That's your evidence-based biohacking protocol. No gimmicks, no unproven interventions, just clinical medicine applied with precision. The data is unequivocal. Biological age is modifiable, and the interventions with the strongest evidence are accessible to you right now. This isn't about chasing immortality, it's about maximizing your functional health span so you can travel, play with grandchildren, and maintain your independence for decades to come. If this approach resonates with you and you want more science-backed longevity strategies delivered without the hype, subscribe to this channel and share this video with someone who values their vitality. Your next decade doesn't have to look like decline, it can look like optimization.